One of the best wide receivers in the transfer portal just announced a visit to Nebraska. And then I have a massive update around a certain Husker transfer who looks to be coming back. Hint, hint on that defensive line. So in today's video, we have a lot to get into. Before we talk about, make sure to hit that like button. A lot of good stuff happening for the Big Red. And also, please subscribe if you're new here. I post daily Nebraska football content, coaching carousel updates, transfer portal updates every single day. We're getting so close to 9,000 subscribers. So listen, if you're a diehard Husker fan and you want the latest on your favorite team, make sure to subscribe. You will be thanking yourself that you did. But without further ado, let's get into it, going over some big transfer news that was just announced. I want to start it off talking about this wide receiver because he is arguably the best wide receiver in the transfer portal. It was just announced that Florida International wide receiver Eric Rivers will be visiting Nebraska on December 15th and December 16th, along with schools like Miami, Penn State, in Colorado. Now, if you are not familiar with Eric Rivers, this guy is an absolute stud. Last year for the Panthers, get this, 62 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. This guy is an absolute stud. Almost every single program in the country wants him in the portal, but Nebraska just locked down a visit. Now, I talked about him a couple hours ago in my video that I released this morning about all the receivers that the Huskers are after. They're being very aggressive in this wide receiver market. Expect 2 or 3 commits. Okay, I would expect Dane Key to commit. I would expect them to be heavily in that Deuce Robinson recruiting process. But Eric Rivers, my goodness, this guy is probably the most sought-after wide receiver in the portal right now. Again, he can do it all. Has 2 years of eligibility left. Really fast, really good hands. NFL upside listed at 6 foot tall, 180. Again, pretty shifty as well. And again, the stats don't lie. 62 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards. That is a really, really good player, and it's pretty significant that Nebraska has scheduled a visit with him. So again, the other teams that he's visiting, Miami, that's again very close to where he goes to college right now, and FIU, Penn State, and then the Colorado Buffaloes. So don't expect him to make an announcement for a couple weeks because he's going on a lot of these visits. But Nebraska right now in this recruiting process for one of the best wide receivers in the portal. I'm pumped up about this. I was super excited. I was watching this guy's film when he entered the portal, and I said, this guy's a difference maker. You know, Dane Key's cool. Dane Key's good. Deuce Robinson's good. Eric Rivers is our Trey Palmer. Like, we were to get this guy, he's going to be an absolute stud, one of the best wide receivers in America next year. So he was one of the best receivers in America this year. So if we get him next year, imagine how good he's going to be. This is our Trey Palmer edition. Get him in Lincoln and keep him here. So watch out for Eric Rivers, Florida International transfer, one of the best wide receivers last year in America. Huskers are trying to get him along with some other schools. All right, let's get to the second part of this video, talking about you-know-who on this defensive line, KEONA Davis, big-time name who entered the portal the other day for the Huskers. A lot of fans were not happy to see him leave. Now, it was just reported by Sean Callahan, a couple Rivals guys, that things are looking very good for Nebraska to pull him out of the portal so he can return next year. Now, if I were to guess, 2 things happened. Number one, they convinced him on a roll. They said, hey, KEONA, listen, if you come back, you're going to start next year. You're going to be a big difference maker. We can't promise that if you go somewhere else. Okay, and a lot of people say you can't promise roles. You absolutely can. That's exactly what these coaching staffs are doing with these portal guys. So I bet you that the coaching staff said, hey, KEONA, if you come back here, you're going to be a big difference maker. And number 2, you know what got bumped up? That NIL. I bet he's getting paid almost as good as any other player on the roster for Nebraska. You know, it speaks volumes how badly they wanted KEONA Davis back. We saw a bunch of good players enter the portal for Nebraska. Jamari Butler, Prince Emmanuel, Mekhi Bayer. They tried to get KEONA Davis back the most out of every single one of them. They wanted KEONA Davis back more than they wanted Emmett Johnson back. They wanted KEONA Davis back more than they wanted Prince Emmanuel back. That should speak volumes about how good this guy is, how good of a future he has, and all signs point to him returning. I'd imagine that gets announced pretty soon for the Big Red. So, again, that's a big guy to get back, a guy who's considered to be the next Ndamukong Suh. In the offseason, played 11 games for the Huskers, had his red shirt burned because he's a difference maker, and he should play right away next year. So pretty big, significant developments happening in the transfer portal for Nebraska. Let me know your thoughts down below on every single guy the Huskers are after. If you want to see every single player that the Huskers are after in the transfer portal, look at my video that I posted earlier today. Make sure to look out for that one. But again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. So, as folks, go Big Red. Go Matt Rhule, and see you in the next one.